When you open up your Google Drive, you should see two files inside your drive. If you don't see those files, check over under the incoming folder over here. A lot of times when I share things with you, they'll first go to your incoming, and then from there you can send it into your My Drive. So you'll see one file here named P1 Group, then whatever your group name is. And this little green icon here tells me it's a Sheets file. That means it's a spreadsheet. Let's take a look at it. This is one of the documents that you'll be doing work in. Right now, the only thing it has is a sheet in it that says who the different people are in your group and who I am. If you need to assign anything, like you need to go ahead and assign the different contaminant levels, you could put that over here in your sheet. Now, what you're going to be doing in Tech 1, though, is writing out your equations. And that will go into what you see here, which is called P1 Group, whatever your group's name is. So when this opens, there's going to be a lot of stuff in there already. There's going to be kind of a template to help you figure out what your equations are. For now, there's nothing at all in there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I create this template, and in the process of doing that, you're going to learn some skills that might be useful later on. So each one of you are going to be coming up with a different set of equations corresponding to a different contaminant level in well 3, but I need to be able to keep all those things straight. So you're going to find a place in here where it says name, and you're going to go ahead and put your name in here. Now, I also need to know what your well 3 contaminant level is, so I'm going to go ahead and put a place here for the well 3 contamination level. And you can put in there something like 8 parts per billion, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, whatever parts per billion that your team has assigned you. Now, to make things easier here, we're going to use the exact same variable names for every group. That way you can look at each other's stuff and you'll know, this variable always represents the same thing. Since what we're looking for in this project is the amounts of water to be pumped from the different wells, let's call it W1. And traditionally we like to use subscripts to do these things, and this isn't a subscript, but if I want to change it into a subscript, I'm going to click and highlight and then go up to Format, Subscript. So now you can see that the little subscript. Now I'm still in that subscript right now, so let me say Format, Subscript. That'll take it out, and now I can write in the rest of the description for the variable. Amount of water from well 1 in millions of gallons. You want to make sure whenever you're describing a variable that you say exactly what it is you're finding and what the units are. Different units will lead to different equations. So we need one for well 2. And this time I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'm just going to say W2, amount of water from well 2 in millions of gallons. And when I'm done, I'm going to come through here, I'm going to highlight the 2 and then say Format, Subscript. Notice when you go into Format, there's also a place to do superscripts. That can be useful to do powers. There are also ways to put in entire equations, and we'll see that in a later tech assignment. Now, you'll notice these are almost exactly the same. So to put in the variable for well 3, maybe I'll just go ahead, click and highlight, say copy, and then go down and say paste. Now I could just go in and change the 3, change the 2 to a 3, and that's a little bit quicker. That's a skill that's going to be very useful when we're dealing with matrices later on. So everyone's going to have the exact same thing here. You'll need to remember to put your name and the contaminant level. Now let's put the information to help you recognize what the equations are. And I'm going to put those into a table. This is going to be a table with 5 rows and 3 columns. So I'm going to go up to Insert, Table, and then I'm going to go down 5 rows, 3 columns. In the first column, I'm going to put well 1, well 2, well 3, and then a row for the mixture. So these 2 columns are going to be different quantities from the 3 wells in the mixture. So the first columns will just be amounts of water, and the third column will be amount of arsenic in that water. Now I might want to go ahead and center all of these things. If I want to center something, I can just highlight it and then go up and center align it. What you'll need to do is to put in the appropriate things for the amounts of water, the appropriate things for the amounts of arsenic. And you'll need to use subscripts and the variables and things like that. Now, once you have all that done, you should be able to look at this table and see exactly what the equations are for the total amount of water and the total amount of arsenic. So let's put a place where we can put that. Equation 1 for total amount of water and equation 2 for total amount of arsenic. So each person in your group is going to have something that looks exactly like this. You'll simply need to put your name, contamination levels, fill out the table with the appropriate variables and terms, and then use that table to come up with 2 equations here. Now, since this is a shared document, you'll be able to see what your teammates are putting in, and at any point I can look in and see what you're doing also, because this document is also shared with me. On the due date, I'll go ahead and look these things over, and then I'll give your entire team feedback to make sure that you understand exactly what's going on and you have the right equations. If you're not sure, if your equations look really different from someone else's, go ahead and ask them a question about it. You can use this comment button up here to leave comments. So for instance, if I wanted to leave a comment right here, I could click on comment and then go ahead and type something in here. When you type something in here and then say comment below, what that's going to do is that's going to share that comment with everyone in your team, and then they can come back and chip in and they can respond to that comment. So get working on technology assignment 1. The earlier you start, the sooner I can start looking over things and giving some feedback.